There are a lot of different ways to learn the piano, but which one is the right one? Is there even a right one? In today's video, we'll dive into a variety of different approaches for learning the piano and how to decide which one is right for you. First and most importantly, there is no easy way to learn the piano. There is no shortcut, no special method that is going to get you where you want to be in half the time. Period. End of story. Easier music is easier to play. Harder music is harder to play, regardless of if you're learning from sheet music, chord symbols, or learning to play by ear. Anyone who is trying to convince you that there is one method of learning that is easier or faster than the others is probably trying to sell you something. There should be a few factors and questions you consider when deciding how you want to approach learning the piano. Number one, actual facts, data, and examples of pianists you admire and how they learned to play the piano. Number two, how far you want to go with the piano and how ambitious your goals are. And number three, what style or styles of music you want to learn. First, let's take a little bit of a zoomed out view on the differences in learning methods. There are two main ways to take in musical information: our eyes and our ears. A great misconception is that these are two totally different skills. And usually people either know how to read sheet music or know how to play by ear. Or you basically have to learn to do those things completely separately. When in reality, all musicians to some extent do both. And a vast majority of highly skilled and proficient musicians do both really well. And in fact, don't really look at them or treat them as separate things and probably didn't really learn to do them separately. For example, not that I'd always call myself a highly proficient and skilled musician, but when I'm playing hymns at church, I have the sheet music open in front of me to get the melody and the basic chord structure, but then I'm filling in the bass line and improvising on the melody primarily by ear. And my ability to do those things evolved really naturally side by side with my skills of reading the sheet music. And this integration of processes occurs quite frequently. So I really just want to start by debunking this idea that these skills are totally separate. Specifically when it comes to the often touted claim that learning with a more traditional method won't train your ear. And similarly, I want to kind of debunk the idea that chord symbols, lead sheets, and traditional sheet music are all really different things. They are all based around the same principles of Western music theory. Chord symbols and lead sheets are just abbreviated versions of traditional sheet music. And the main thing that I would keep in mind is that on day one of just learning chord symbols, someone might teach you kind of by rote that this is a C chord and this is a G chord. And those basic chords might sound a little cooler and a little fuller than those simple melodies that you might be playing on day one of learning from sheet music. But after a couple of weeks, maybe a month of learning sheet music, you'll get to the point of learning those notes and learning that this particular combination of notes is called a C chord and this particular combination of notes is called a G chord. And now you can do both. You can play these chords both from traditional sheet music and from chord symbols pretty easily. But keep in mind that the reverse is not true. If you've been playing from chord symbols for a little while, you're not one day going to incidentally learn to read sheet music. I am not saying that one is right or wrong. Just highlighting that again, a lot of times it's presented as if sheet music and chord symbols are these two totally different things, and you have to pick which one you want to learn. But learning chord symbols is a fairly easy transfer from reading sheet music, but the reverse is not necessarily the case. So again, my purpose here in stepping back and getting just a bit of a bird's eye view is just to posit that there really is probably a little bit more overlap in these learning modalities than you might think. And it's become strangely popular to discuss them as these very separate, isolated paths, and you have to pick which one you're going to pursue. But the same essential skill set is going to be necessary to learn music to a high level, no matter which path you choose. So let's get into some more specific scenarios and my recommendations, from the most specific or most uncommon scenarios to my broadest and most common recommendations. So what if your buddy bet you $200 to learn to play River Flows in You in a month? You know what? In that case, I might recommend one of those Synthesia tutorial videos. I know you probably never thought you'd hear me say that, but in this particular scenario, what the heck, go for it. You're just trying to learn one song, you have no long-term interest in playing the piano or building proper technique or anything like that. If someone bet me a couple $100 to learn some super famous French poem in a month, I'm probably not gonna start with the basics of French vocabulary and grammar. I'm just gonna memorize it word by word, building extremely minimal transferable knowledge of French along the way, collect my cash, and probably forget the whole thing in about a week. And I know this is probably going to turn an angry mob of Synthesia lovers my way, but that's essentially all you're getting out of learning the piano this way. Now, let's say that a student is blind or visually impaired or has severe dyslexia or something like that that makes reading sheet music very difficult or even impossible. In that case, I would recommend learning purely by ear. Something like the Suzuki method is a great place to start. There are some large notebooks of sheet music and some braille sheet music, but it's very limited. And as an example, concert pianist Nobuyuki Tsuji has been blind since birth and prefers to learn music purely by ear because so much of the repertoire is not available in braille music. So developing an extremely sensitive ear and figuring out processes for learning by ear is probably the most useful approach. So that means there is no need and no excuse for jumping into way too difficult and complicated YouTube recordings and tutorials. The Suzuki method, which is primarily used for young children, but can and is regularly adapted for adult learners, is a very systematic, pedagogically sound method, starting from the very basics that primarily focuses on learning by rote. Now, let's say that you're exclusively interested in playing keyboard in a band. In that case, I might recommend a very strictly chords-focused approach, where you're learning a handful of basic major and minor chords, probably by rote, maybe learning some basics of keyboard geography, and then memorizing chords from there. In a case like this, you're probably going to be playing from a pretty limited set of chords to start with, and you'll mostly be focused on just staying in time and basic rhythms, maybe learning some basic melodies or more complex accompaniment patterns by rote, and maybe exploring the different sound effects and features of your keyboard or synthesizer. So in this case, I probably wouldn't worry too much about learning sheet music to start with, unless you really want to. And I would begin by just learning your major and minor chords, then after that starting to learn your seventh chords, and then maybe some of your suspended 4, 2, or 6 chords. Then learning inversions, and then just continuing to work on developing your ear so that you can replicate what you're hearing in pop songs on the keys. At some point in this process, you might prefer to start learning some sheet music, but I think that starting with just chords in this case is totally fine. Now, if that band that you're wanting to join is a jazz band, or you're overall more interested in learning to play music in a jazz style, my recommendation is going to be a little different. I think a big misconception is that learning to play jazz only involves playing from chord symbols. And while on a very rudimentary level, you might be able to get away with that, all of the really proficient jazz musicians I know how to read from sheet music and have a crazily well-developed ear. And if you look through a jazz textbook, you're gonna find different chords, chord progressions, voicings, comping patterns written out in sheet music. True jazz theory is far more complicated than 2-5-1. And in many cases, I think it's more complicated and intricate than what you're typically expected to deal with in classical theory. So I would recommend that you probably start with the very basics of learning to read sheet music. You'll want to have the foundations of reading treble and bass clef, and the basics of traditional music theory. Then start working with a jazz curriculum or a jazz teacher. That is not my area of expertise, but there are some amazing jazz educators and jazz channels here on YouTube, so that might be a great place to start. Now, if you, like the majority of pianists, are interested in learning any type of classical music or classical style music, keep in mind that most film music, video game music, and even some popular stuff is in a classical style, with melody and harmony, relatively complex, longer pieces with a more elaborate structure. The absolute best way to learn this kind of music is with sheet music. And I'm gonna be honest, I am really sick of the sheet music slander and the absolute nonsense that learning to read sheet music is the outdated way to learn. That would be like somebody wanting to learn English so they could read Jane Austen and other classics in their original language, and someone saying, oh, learning the alphabet, that's the old way. You've got to try the new, more fun way where we just memorize a bunch of words, and you never actually learn how to read and write, but you'll be reading Pride and Prejudice in no time. And while I will be the first to admit that learning to read sheet music proficiently is challenging, it's not nearly as difficult as people think it is. if you learn in a smart, systematic way and emphasize sight reading skills in your practice. And yes, the very early phase of learning to read sheet music might not be the most exciting, and it might not involve the most compelling repertoire. But from a psychological perspective, I think it's easiest to start with that kind of simple, maybe a little boring stuff, then to try a bunch of other things and mess around with tutorials, and then 6 months later ultimately realize that you do want to learn to read sheet music. And then you have to go back to that very basic point 6 months down the road. And I think in general, just setting our expectations correctly when we're learning a new skill, knowing that we're going to have to learn the basics first. There's probably going to be some trial and error, and we have to invest some time and effort before we're doing stuff that feels really cool and satisfying. That's probably a healthier and more realistic expectation. And again, if we look at the data, 99% of pianists and composers in a traditional Western classical music style learned to play from sheet music. Traditional sheet music is very, very old, going back to the medieval era. And I really think that if there was some better way to learn Western classical music, Bach or Beethoven or Liszt might have figured it out. A traditional score is able to communicate the most information in the most precise and concise way. Notes, including our key signature and accidentals, rhythms, including our time signature and any tempo changes, fingerings, dynamics, articulations, pedaling, and other expressive markings can all be communicated simultaneously and instantaneously in a score. And in my opinion, traditional sheet music is the most versatile. You can write out a simple 4-chord pop song in sheet music. You can write out a jazz solo in sheet music. And if you're a proficient sight reader, you can play almost any style of music from sheet music. But it doesn't always work the opposite way. It's a lot harder and maybe impossible to play a Chopin ballade from a chord chart or lead sheet. And the ability to sight read proficiently is just an incredibly useful skill in any kind of classical space, especially if you have the desire to participate in music in some kind of professional way. The most widely available opportunities for classical pianists to make money is through teaching, accompanying, and church music. And for the latter two, sight reading is an absolutely necessary skill, and I would argue it's a really important skill for teaching as well. Now, if you want to improve your sight reading skills or deepen your knowledge of reading traditional sheet music, next week I am starting a 4-part series all about sight reading. Part 1 is going to be resources and materials for practicing sight reading. Part 2 is foundational skills and concepts for sight reading. Part 3 is more advanced sight reading tips and skills. And Part 4 is tools and resources to assess your current sight reading level and how to figure out where your sight reading level should be based on your repertoire. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that series. Hopefully I've demonstrated that I'm not against other methods of learning. And there are instances where not focusing on learning to read sheet music makes sense and is very appropriate. But I'm not going to pretend that there is some easier or more efficient way to learn traditional, classical style piano music, and the skill set that is the most useful in that context. Okay, so what about lead sheets? Lead sheets are something that you'd definitely be using in a jazz context and maybe even for pop songs. But I've also lately seen lead sheets touted as an easier way for beginners to learn more traditional music as an alternative to reading sheet music. So in case you're unfamiliar, a lead sheet is where you have the melody written out, usually in treble clef in traditional notation, and then you have chord symbols above that you're meant to play with your left hand. And again, lead sheets are very common in jazz music and Great American Songbook kind of stuff. Lead sheets are great. Are they some miracle way for beginners to learn all of their favorite songs 10 times more easily? That I'm not so sure about. With a lead sheet, you still have to be able to read sheet music to be able to play the melody, usually just a treble clef. You also have to know your chord symbols. And typically what you want to do when you're playing from a lead sheet is a little bit more than just the basic, plain, blocked root position chords in your left hand. So you have to also be able to do some improv and playing by ear to make it sound the way you want. These are all amazing skills that every pianist should learn to do. And I love playing from lead sheets and using them in my teaching. But I'm gonna push back against this trend of saying that lead sheets are some easier alternative to reading traditional sheet music. And as is a recurring theme throughout this video, playing this is pretty easy, whether you're playing from a lead sheet or traditional sheet music or even just playing by ear. And playing this is much harder regardless of your method. Now, if you're pretty much exclusively interested in playing Great American Songbook and jazz standard kind of pieces, focusing on learning to play from lead sheets is a pretty good idea. You'll want to work on your staff reading skills, really for both clefs, even though melodies are usually written in treble clef, but you'll want to study bass clef so that way you can learn chord progressions, chord voicings, inversions, etc. that are written in sheet music. You'll want to learn all of your chord symbols, including seventh chords, chord inversions, and altered chords, and you'll want to work on improv and different comping patterns to fill in your left hand. But if you're interested in learning a wider variety of styles, I would push back against exclusively using lead sheets and would recommend incorporating them alongside traditional scores. I hope today's video gave you some insight and direction into which method of learning the piano might work the best for you. Please let me know in the comments which methods you've tried and which have worked the best. And as always, thank you so much for watching and happy practicing.